So for this example, we're going to take a look at solving an inequality when it is not linear. So to start, I have this, looks like a parabola here, but instead of y equals x squared minus 4x plus 3, it is y is less than x squared plus minus 4x plus 3. The good news is we're going to start this off in much of the same way as we would a linear inequality. I'm going to replace the y or the less than symbol with an equal sign. So I'm going to have y equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. And we actually know quite a bit about this parabola, and this is a good review of graphing parabolas. So I'm going to first start by determining my x-intercepts. My x-intercepts are when y is equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and do my generic rectangle. I'm going to look for factors of 3x squared that add up to negative 4x. And after some consideration, I came to negative 1x and negative 3x. So that turns into x minus 3 times x minus 1 equal to 0 by my zero product property, which then means that x minus 3 is 0 or x minus 1 is 0. And I'm going to get x is 3 or x equals 1 when I solve. But because it asked me for intercepts, I'm going to write it as 3, 0 and 1, 0. I'm going to put my x-intercepts here. Part B asked me to determine the y-intercept. Again, I'm going to treat that like the equation. Put a 0 in for x. So that's going to be 0, 3. So that point's going to be here. And then due to the symmetry, I know that I'm going to be one outside the other x-intercept as well. The last thing that this asks me to do to graph my parabola is to determine the vertex. I know the vertex is halfway in between my x-intercepts. So halfway in between 3 and 1 is 2. So I'm going to do y equals 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3, which would be 4 minus 8 plus 3, or negative 4 plus 3, which is negative 1. So my vertex would be the point 2, negative 1. Now that I have all of that information for my parabola, I'm going to decide that this should be a dashed line because I'm just at y is less than. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my parabola, but I'm going to use a dashed line instead of a solid line. Okay, once I have my parabola drawn, I still have two regions, inside the parabola and outside the parabola. So I'm going to pick a point as long as it's not on my boundary, not on that parabola itself, and test a point. I'm going to choose 0, 0, and I'm going to test in the original. And I'm going to make sure that that 0, 0 is not on my parabola, which it's not. 0 is less than 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 3. That is what I am checking to see. And I get 0 is less than 3, meaning that is true. Since that is true, I am going to shade the entire region where 0, 0 lies. So that would be this whole region on the outside, kind of underneath that parabola. So different than a line, but same idea. I'm going to graph it, use the tools that I have to graph, in this case, parabolas, and then pick a test point that is not on my boundary point and decide where I should shade.